Here we are into July, first year garden tour number 2. This is the tomato patch. They're doing great. Down there, lots of tomatoes. This variety is the big beef, the whole way down through there. Got a couple right there. A couple right there. Lots of tomatoes. They're almost waist tall. They're looking great. Like I said in the previous video, we did 219 tomatoes. We probably lost a dozen or so, so we still have 200 plus, and they're all doing great. They all have, almost all of them have tomatoes. All of them definitely have flowers. There's a missing one, just a weed in the hole it was in. More tomatoes. More tomatoes. They all look good. Looks like a jungle walking through here. We do have 4 different varieties growing. Big boy, Bradley, big beef, and can't remember what kind it was. We wanted an Amish paste seed, but Johnny substituted a different seed for those, and I can't remember exactly what they were. They're a paste tomato. And this is the end of the tomato patch. Down on this end, they don't look quite as good as they do on the other end, but still no complaints for the way we set this garden up. Still a really nice tomato patch. Here's our pepper patch. These are Marconis. They're looking really good. These peppers have an ungodly amount of peppers on them. I know this camera don't show justice, but they're loaded and they're huge. Look how long they are. Nice, sweet, smoky flavored. They do turn red, but I'm not sure when they turn red. These are little ones on this plant, but there's still some decent sized ones on there. They all look really good. Then you come to this one here and you got 2 monsters. Got another big one right there. These Marconis are going great. We like the Marconis, but we've never grown so many before. And they stop. We stop right here. Actually, that's the last Marconi. Then we have California Wonders, which is a bell pepper. All peppers. These aren't doing it quite as good as the Marconis, but they're doing good for a bell pepper. We here living where we do, down 5B, 6A, Maryland, Western Maryland, in the mountains, elevation about 2,800 feet. Our peppers usually don't grow real well as far as bells go, but these are doing pretty good. These are definitely the best ones we've ever grown. And all peppers will change colors. They're not green by nature. These will actually turn red. They won't stay green unless you pick them before they're ripe. They'll get sweeter when they're changes to red. They go down to here. I'm not sure how many of them we have, but from here back to the fence, There's a lot of peppers. And these are sweet bananas, or Hungarian wax, whatever you want to call them. They're the same pepper. That and curled for some reason. I'm not sure why they do that, but some of them do. These are looking good. We actually harvested some of these. They're on real well. There's lots of peppers. And like I said earlier, this is the first year of gardening on this area. We just bought this property late June or late May, early June, which then until we got ready to harvest to grow on, it was mid-June before we actually even put anything in the ground here. So this stuff's only been in the ground for a month and a half. And look at it. And down through here is hot peppers, hot banana peppers, which they're Hungarian wax. They point up, and I've never seen peppers do that before. They're good. They are really tasty. And we've harvested a fair many. Well, enough for me to eat. We ain't harvested any for the market yet. They do good. There is a lot of one. A lot of one. This camera just definitely doesn't show justice on what they are. Like this one here alone has probably got, I don't even know how many peppers on that one alone. 10 or 12 maybe, 15. And they all look like that. All the way to the end. And this garden's 70 foot this way. So it's 70 foot from here to that fence. And that's 50 foot from there to there. This row here has butternut on this side and spaghetti squash on the other end. I think there's like 9 or 10 of each. I can't remember exactly. They're doing great too. Like everything else down here in the first year of gardening. Very impressive how good things are doing for them when we work through what we did. There is actually some butternuts starting to form. There's a fair many butternuts on, but there's like that little baby thing there. It's not even pollinated yet because the flower hasn't opened yet. So when this flower opens, one like that one needs to open at the same time so they can pollinate. If not, you can hand pollinate them. There's a lot on, a lot of flowers. They're all good. Very happy. There's one starting to grow. There's one. There's one. There's one. Looking good. Lots and lots of squash. We love them butternuts. And they sell pretty good at the farm market as well. Right there's one. Right there's one. There. That one might be pollinated, maybe. That one probably isn't yet. And then this is the last of the butternuts. So they go that way, from there down. And then from there that way is spaghetti squashes. And the spaghetti squashes are way outperforming the butternuts. There's one there. Little baby there. There's two right there. One there. I'm not sure what that marking is from. Not sure what that's from. But it's all right. Well, hopefully it'll ripen up and we'll eat it. But there's one. One there. One there, one there. One there. There. Right there's 3 on the same plant. And then this one's on that same plant. There's a couple there and there. Like I said before, they're just doing great. These spaghetti squashes are outperforming what I ever dreamt they would have. Because all we did was took the sod off the ground and planted pretty much. We did very little of anything else. We didn't till, didn't broad fork, didn't do nothing. Just took the sod off, burnt holes in the ground cover. Put a little bit of compost in each hole that we dug, and that was truly all we had done to this. And these spaghetti squashes are doing excellent. Just hope we get them before the cucumber beetles get to them. These 3 rows are all pumpkins, and as we can see, they're not going real well. We got a few. This row here is pie. This Cherokee bush. And these are jack-o'-lantern. I have one Cherokee bush. Weeds, 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 nothing. That would be the jack-o'-lanterns. There's nothing in them 2 holes. That's a jack-o'-lantern here. Weeds, weeds, nothing, 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 nothing. That's a pie. Yeah, they're not doing real good. It don't make a whole lot of difference to me. That's a pie. No pies, nothing, no flowers, nothing on any of that stuff. And then on this end, for some reason, this end seems to be doing better than the other end with pumpkins. That's a pie, that's a bush, bush, nothing, 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 bush, pie, 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 jack-o'-lantern, and the jack-o'-lantern. This here is probably the nicest pumpkin out of the bunch. It's this one right here. But it's not producing any flowers or anything like that at this point. But it's definitely taken off and growing well. It's pretty good size. Lay it down there like that. Go back to where it was. That's not a bad sized plant. Comes from seed. This road here is a gourd. Got the seeds off a lady from the Homesteaders of America conference in 2019. We saved the seed out of the gourd she gave us, and we planted them this year. And they're actually starting to produce little gourds. We call them spinners because they look like a top when they're fully ripened. Probably 3 inches in diameter. And these vines are just amazing. That's right there's one plant. Here's to there. Back here to its base. Splits off and goes that way. Splits off and goes that way. Splits off and goes that way. But there's 2 coming out that way. It all comes from one single seed coming out right there. 2 of them there didn't take. Here's this one. They're doing great. I just can't believe how good they're doing from seed that we saved from the conference that someone had given us. One of the speakers at the Homesteaders of America conference gave us them seeds for these. This one here, that one there didn't take, obviously. That one there's kind of yellowish, but it's still growing. So we may get something out of it, we may not, who knows. That one there's doing all right. That one there's doing pretty good. It's got a female or a male flower right there. All cucumbers, squash, pumpkins, anything from the cucumber family is all the same. The male flowers does not have a fruit on it. So that's just a flower and a stem. There's no fruit, so to speak, there. And there's a lot of those on this one. all those, when they open up, will be male flowers. There's, that I can see right now, this plant has no female flowers. The female flowers are the ones that actually, when they start to form, coming out of the stem, right there, like that, they'll actually look like the fruit itself, but they won't necessarily be the fruit unless they get pollinated from one of those. That is a female. That's a male flower, sorry. So let's look at these and see if we can find any male flowers on these from here, on this one. Those are all females. Female, female, female. At this point in time, this one here looks like it's got all male flowers on it as well, no females. Anyhow, the ones that was down that way, there was some of those that had the male flowers on, because you can see the fruit actually forming right there. That is the female. See that actually will be a gourd if it gets pollinated from some of the female flowers, and this plant has both male and female, which most cucurbic families do have both. This is a banana squash. They're doing really good. We planted some of these. We saved seed out of them that we had gotten from the farmer's market last year. There is a female flower. Nothing been pollinated yet. They're just coming on. We was late getting the garden going over on this side of the yard. Like I said earlier, it was mid-June before we planted anything. So hopefully we get stuff. It freezes out here mid-October, we're done. So hopefully we get stuff out of it. So from there down that way to the fence, which I don't know if you can see the fence at the thing, but you can see the pole right there's a fence post, there's a banner. I had enough of that ground cover to go around, but I didn't want to put it down here because I want to put beets out. So here's beets. There's 5 rows, 75 foot long of beets, and they're doing pretty good for no more compost than what I had to put down. They're doing pretty good. I can't really complain about them. And here's 2 rows of spinach that I'd started. There's a lot of weeds in there. I need to weed it, but sometimes you don't have time to do all you need to do. So there's what they are. All the way down. See the spinach is right there. The beets are right there. There is the gourds and spaghetti squash. Sorry for the focus. And then this, as I said earlier in a video a week or 2 ago, this down here is just seeds that we had. It was old, a year or more old, that we just threw out like grass seed. So we've got some nice squash. Not sure what kind they are. Just mixed everything together and threw them out. There's a nice radish. I'm probably gonna let them in. I ate one of these earlier down here and it was really good. There's a tomato. There's another radish. That's just a weed of some sort. We'll assume that's a beet. There's a lot of weeds in here, but there's a lot of other stuff in here as well. I'm not gonna worry about it. Kind of like ground cover. A lot of carrots too coming up. Carrots, radishes, some kind of squash, mustards, radishes, squash. And it's like that the whole way down through. There's actually a lot of purslane, which grows wild around here, so that's no big deal. No surprise. And we're all the way down through. All the way down to there. Here's some watermelon that we actually planted. It's growing good. I don't know that we'll get any watermelon off of it this year, but it's growing really good. And down on this end is some cantaloupe, which actually they're getting some flowers on. So we may get something out of them. Not real sure. Hopefully we do. Hopefully we get some watermelon too. But we may not. It is what it is. There's where we dumped all the sod at when we cleaned it out of the garden area. That's right there. We just put it in a pile, probably 3 foot by 3 foot high, 3 or 4 foot wide, and 70 couple feet long. Put a watermelon in. It's growing pretty good, actually. Kind of impressive. Then we threw in some marigolds. For the most part, they're dead. Decorative corn stalks, whatever. They're no good. Some of the marigolds look decent. They're just dying at the tops, but no big deal. And you can see the garden there. It's all right there from earlier in the video. This is just a sod pile. We got some elderberries I'm probably going to put down here in this. Probably on the upper side of this. I'm going to use it for a swale so the water collects. We got a bunch of English walnuts and other stuff we're probably going to put in down here. And on this end is another watermelon. This one on this end is taking over pretty good. It's actually growing really big. I believe that's the yarrow growing right there. Just in a sod. So there wraps up the second video of the first year garden tour. On the opposite side of the road is our home. And just remember, there are more microorganisms in 1 teaspoon of soil than there is people on earth. So use compost, grow healthy, take care, talk to you again soon.